I thought the chaos with Karen was over after the barn incident. I was wrong, very wrong. I had left for a short business trip, trusting that the ranch would be safe in my absence. After all, I had fences, gates, warning signs, and the occasional territorial bull to keep unwanted visitors at bay. Yet, nothing could have prepared me for what awaited me upon my return. I drove down the long gravel driveway, the sun glinting off the horizon, feeling the familiar relief of returning home. But as I rounded the last bend, my stomach dropped. There, smack in the middle of my property, sat an enormous warehouse. Not a small shed, mind you, but a full-blown industrial monstrosity with steel walls and a concrete foundation. Its shadow stretched across my fields like an ominous prophecy. At first, I thought it was some construction crew I hadn't been informed about. Then I noticed the bulldozed remains of my barn. My barn, the one that had stood for decades, where generations of my family had stored hay, tools, and memories, all gone, reduced to splintered wood, nails, and a faint whiff of old hay. And in the middle of it all, standing with a smug expression, was Karen, clipboard in hand, surrounded by what appeared to be an unauthorized construction crew. "What on earth?" I bellowed, stepping out of my truck. Karen turned, her face lighting up with an unsettling mix of pride and mischief. "I'm just improving the property," she said, like a schoolteacher explaining why she replaced your homework with a crumpled drawing. "We're building a community warehouse. It's for everyone's benefit. You'll thank me later." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "For everyone's benefit? Karen, that's my property. And you tore down my barn. Oh, come on. You weren't using it efficiently. This warehouse will store things for the HOA. It's legal." She hesitated, then muttered, "Mostly." I felt a surge of rage, but also a strange sense of determination. Karen had overstepped every boundary imaginable. I was about to remind her exactly who owned this land. First, I called the county zoning office. As I expected, the permits were non-existent. Karen had built this warehouse without a single legal authorization. The county officers promised immediate action. Then I marched to the warehouse site, and Karen's construction crew froze when they saw me. "I'm giving you exactly one chance to leave," I said, my voice calm but firm. "This property is mine. Every inch. That warehouse comes down today, and none of you will touch a single thing I own without permission again." Karen's face went pale. "You can't do that," she shrieked. "I'm the HOA. I have authority." "You have authority over a sidewalk in a gated community," I said, trying to keep my composure. "You do not have the authority to destroy private property. You do not have authority over my land. Do you understand?" The crew, sensing the tension, muttered nervously and began packing their equipment. Karen, meanwhile, tried to assert dominance by waving her clipboard, but it was futile. I wasn't bluffing. Later, as the warehouse was dismantled under county supervision, Karen sulked in the corner, muttering about overreaching property owners and unreasonable land privileges. I watched, shaking my head, knowing this was far from over. The war with Karen had only escalated, but for now the ranch was mine again. That night, I walked around the property, surveying the cleared barn site and the surrounding fields. I could almost hear the land sigh in relief. I promised myself that I would never let anyone, HOA or otherwise, take my ranch for granted. And somewhere down the road, I knew Karen was already scheming her next outrageous move. She didn't just break the rules. She lived for chaos. But I was ready. I had patience, I had resources, and I had something Karen would never understand: true ownership. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light across the ranch, I stood in the remains of the barnyard and smiled. The warehouse was gone, the barn site cleared, and Karen had learned, once again, that my ranch was untouchable. At least, for now.